What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. I cover political news, and folks, I got another banger for you here today, folks. Yeah, I got another corporate press article, and these people, they love to lie. They love to twist the narrative. I talk about this all the time, and I just can't help myself, folks. These people are insane, and they're trying to manipulate you into oblivion. This is another one of those, stop making me defend Trump. Like, what in the F are you actually talking about here? These people are crazy, folks. Check this out. U.S. election officials decry Trump's threat to jail them if he returns to the White House. So the way they make this sound is like Trump's just pointing the finger. I'm going to jail you. I'm going to jail you. I'm going to jail you. I'm going to jail everybody. Right? They're making him sound like a madman because they know, once again, most people don't read all the way through these articles. And the first paragraph doesn't really help that much either. Right? Let's get into it and we'll see what's going on here. Check this out. U.S. election administrators and Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris's campaign condemned on Monday threats by Donald Trump to jail corrupt election officials if he wins on November 5th, accusing him of intimidation and inciting political violence. You gotta love that. They had to throw that in there. He's intimidating people and inciting political violence. Of course, anything Trump does, Trump could freaking sneeze and they'll be like, oh, he's inciting a riot over here, y'all. Like, he goes and tells some people to be peaceful, and then the people don't listen to him, and then they blame him for it. It's like, huh? How are you blaming this guy for that? That's weird. These people are insane, but you read that first paragraph and you're like, yes, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. He's going to overthrow the government, y'all. Better watch out. He didn't do it last time. They're crazy. Check it out, though. They were responding to a social media post by the Republican presidential candidate on Saturday in which he threatened a range of people with prosecution if they were to engage in voter fraud in the 2024 election. Oh, so that's what it is. So he's not inciting political violence at all. He's not intimidating anybody who's not planning on voter fraud, on conducting voter fraud in the election. So this is very, very telling about the Kamala Harris campaign, about Democrats, anybody that responds to this with, oh my God, he's threatening people with intimidation, oh, he's inciting political violence. Yes, this means that they plan on conducting voter fraud, for crying out loud, because that's what they're telling you. And the corporate press, once again, they're trying to manipulate you into thinking that, oh, it's just Trump being Trump, and he's crazy. But hang on, he said he's going to prosecute criminals. Yes, this is a very normal thing that goes on each and every single day, almost. Okay, so not on weekends. But people do get arrested on the weekend, as a matter of fact. Now, for the president to come out and say, if you conduct voter fraud, if we find any fraud, we're going to prosecute you if I win the presidency. That's yes. Yes, okay, so what? That's what he's saying, but they're telling you that he's inciting some kind of political violence and he's intimidating people. Well, the only people that should be intimidated by that statement is people that plan to conduct voter fraud, that plan to cheat, to steal the election. That's the only reason why they would get aggravated or mad about that, unless they're trying to make a political point, to try to make somebody look bad. Oh, so that's what it is. It's either one of those two things. It can't be anything else. You're either doing it for political points, you're lying on purpose to fool the people, to make people believe that Trump is some deranged lunatic, or you plan on actually cheating to steal the election, and so you're intimidated because if he does win, he's going to come after you for the voter fraud that you conducted. That's what they're saying. So don't buy into the corporate press narrative, y'all. These people are crazy. Studies found voter fraud in the U.S. to be extremely rare. Now, they had to go ahead and throw that in there, right? Oh, studies have found, like directly after that. Studies have found, right? Well, hang on there a second. They don't list the studies. They don't say what studies exactly. And They don't state anything to the contrary, but if you sit back and think about that for a second, okay, studies have found, why are they doing studies to figure out if there was fraud in an election? Shouldn't that be a criminal investigation, right? And if they do these criminal investigations into voter fraud, you would think that it would be as simple as going and looking through all the records to see, hey, hang on, was anybody indicted for any election-related crimes? Yeah, that's the study. So what study? I would like to find out, because you can conduct a study if you don't go and just check the records, check the criminal records, check the indictments of every single county in this country. Then what are you doing? Like, yeah, you don't need a study to do that. I'm sorry. But that's just, once again, a corporate press lie. Because, for one, they don't name the studies. And for two, it makes no logical sense to conduct a study, an outright study, to find out if there was any voter fraud. Right? Because the study would simply consist of checking the records. As a matter of fact, you could use AI to scan the entire internet and find out how many people were indicted for voter fraud for any election-related crime in 2020, 2022, 2018, 2016. You get it. That's all you would have to do. That's not a study. That's research, by the way. But once again, like I said, it's probably just a corporate press lie, because they don't cite their sources. So when the corporate press does not cite a source, they just make a claim, you can guarantee it's a lie. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're trying to sow a narrative to manipulate you. So you gotta watch out for that, y'all. Trump wrote, "We cannot let our country further devolve into a third world nation, and we won't. Please beware that this legal exposure extends to lawyers, political operatives, donors, illegal voters, and corrupt election officials. Those involved in unscrupulous behavior will be sought out, caught, and prosecuted at levels, unfortunately, never seen before in this country." Wow, yes. Yeah, if you commit voter fraud, we're going to hunt you down, and we're going to find you, and we're going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. That's what you would expect, right? Like, this is a statement of logic, base logic here, right? If Kamala Harris said the exact same thing, I would be like, yes, of course, please do so, as a matter of fact. But we know they won't, because they're intimidated. For one of two reasons, like I said. It's either political gain, or they plan on cheating to win the election. And we know from 2020 and the shadow campaign that, yeah, that's what they did in 2020. But hang on, what they did before that, they went and changed the election laws and some of the rules to benefit themselves so they could get away with cheating. That's what they did. Yeah, there was no widespread voter fraud. Yeah, you love that. Widespread voter fraud. Now, I know that term is used a lot, but think about what that means there for a second. Widespread voter fraud. What does that mean? Because you could have voter fraud in a bunch of different counties spread out all over the country, and it'd be just very minimal. Like 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, and say 100 different counties in the country just evenly spread out. And you could call that widespread voter fraud easily. Definitionally, that's what you could do. Am I wrong? Let me know down in the comments section. But what they really mean, or at least what they are implying to say, is that there was a whole lot, like thousands upon thousands, possibly millions of people that fraudulently voted. But, you know, that's one of those things. Trump also repeated his baseless claim that his 2020 election defeat to Democratic President Joe Biden was due to fraud, the same message he gave to supporters before the deadly storming of the U.S. Capitol building on January 6, 2021. Oh my God. Yes, he lost because they cheated. It wasn't voter fraud. There was fraud in that election. It's guaranteed. We've looked it up. We've seen the articles on the voter fraud that was in that election. But it wasn't nearly enough to overturn the results. What Trump is talking about, though, is what Democrats did. He's talking about the shadow campaign. They cheated to win. And you could call cheating fraud. Yeah, because you're cheating. You're acting fraudulently. Once again, changing the rules and changing the laws around the election and not notifying the other side. Yeah, that's cheating, folks. I'm sorry, there's no other way to put that. It's cheating. It's underhanded tactics. It's manipulating the procedure to benefit one side and not the other. That's what that's doing. Adrian Fontes, a Democrat and the Secretary of State in the battleground state of Arizona, described Trump's post on his Truth Social account as tyrannical, folks. It's tyrannical, y'all. And said it had the potential to incite political violence. How? How does that incite political violence? This is something I would love to know coming from these people. Like seriously, how? Because somebody saying that once they become president, if we find that you broke the law, we're going to come after you. You know, we're going to sick the FBI on you and the DOJ and come after you because you're a criminal. How is that going to incite violence? Once again, you got to read between the lines here. What are they saying? That they're going to fight back? That they're actually going to conduct some voter fraud to cheat to try to win? I mean, what are they really saying? Because if they do conduct voter fraud and they win because of it, then they don't have anything to worry about. Once again, how is that going to incite violence? You got to read between the lines here. It's weird. It's a very weird statement. So, once again, my belief, they're just doing this for political gain. Once again, ringing the alarm on Donald Trump, trying to say, oh, look, evil orange man over here is evil. He's going to prosecute criminals, y'all. Yes, he's a bad man prosecuting those criminals. Sadly, security is now one of the main considerations in election administration, Fontes, the top election official in Arizona, told Reuters. Yes, you already said that. Why did they repeat that again? You already told us that Fontes was the top election official in Arizona, right just at the beginning of the previous paragraph. Trying to take up room, I guess. Trump's comments gave the potential for bad actors to take them as a call to arms. How? Once again, do you ever do that when cops go and arrest people? If the FBI or the DOJ announces some indictments, is that some kind of call to arms? Like, seriously. Like, these people blow my mind with their logical inconsistencies, because there is no logic in that statement whatsoever. Once again, that is like saying that any indictment that comes down from any prosecutor in the entire country is a call to arms. That's what she is saying. These people are insane, y'all. We need to protect our election officials and our poll workers. We need to be prepared for just about anything. Seth Bloomstein, a Republican member of Philadelphia's Board of Elections in the swing state of Pennsylvania, said when asked about Trump's comments, every election official I know will be focused on doing their job well, which unfortunately includes preparing for threats of violence. Caroline Leavitt, the Trump campaign's national press secretary, said in a written statement to Reuters, President Trump believes anyone who breaks the law should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, including criminals who engage in election fraud. Without free and fair elections, you can't have a free country. This is all a very true statement, and that is all Trump is saying by that. But leave it to the corporate press to take an innocuous statement that Trump makes and blow it way out of proportion, turning a molehill directly into a mountain. As a matter of fact, not even a mountain. They're trying to turn an ant farm into a super volcano that just exploded and destroyed half of your planet. That's what they're trying to tell you by Trump saying, yeah, I'm going to go after criminals, is going to incite violence. Oh, we got to watch out. He's intimidating poll workers, y'all. No, that's not. The only reason you should be intimidated, like I said, as if you plan on cheating or committing some kind of fraud or committing a crime during the election. That's the only way you could be intimidated by that statement. Like, seriously, these people are crazy, y'all. Amin Musa, a Harris spokesperson, called Trump's comments extreme and unhinged, adding, Donald Trump is further ratcheting up his dangerous threats of revenge and retribution. No, he is not. He is just saying that criminals should be prosecuted. That's it. Nothing else. And that once he's in charge, yeah, he's going to make sure criminals get prosecuted. Yeah, that's a very standard statement for the President of the United States to make. Joe Biden has said the same thing several times. As a matter of fact, Kamala Harris is a prosecutor. So hang on here. Hang on. Yeah, think about that for a second if you don't mind. Trump and Harris are locked in an election battle that opinion polls show is too close to call. Harris has wiped out the lead Trump enjoyed over Biden before the Democratic president dropped his re-election bid in July, and Harris became the party's White House nominee. Yeah, they must not be keeping up with the polls because the polls are swinging back in the other direction currently, but we don't trust the polls around here, so when Trump starts to come up, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not buying into it. And he is coming up right now. Nate Silver has him at like a 65% chance to win the election. Yeah, I'm not buying it, folks. I'm not buying the polls whatsoever. Since his 2020 defeat, Trump has regularly made false claims about election workers cheating him out of victory. Now, I've listened to a lot of Trump speeches, and I've never heard him specifically mention election workers cheating him out of the election. I've always heard him talk about voter fraud in general. Yeah, and the Democrats in general cheating to win. Yeah. I think that might be a lie, folks. But, once again, that's just off the top of my head. I haven't watched every single minute of Trump speeches, so take that for a grain of salt. Many have received threats. In reaction to Trump's Saturday post, Jocelyn Benson, Michigan's Secretary of State and a Democrat, posted on X, "My duty and that of every election official in this nation is to rise above the noise and continue to ensure our elections are fair, secure, accessible, and that the results are accurate. No amount of lies, delusions, or threats will distract us from that purpose." Yes, standard statement. Is that in response to what Trump said, or just a standard statement of fact? Yeah, because that doesn't sound like a response to what Trump said. Because a response to what Trump said should be, yes, please do, as a matter of fact. But no, these people are deranged, folks. They're going to take anything Trump says. Once again, like I said, Trump could sneeze and they'll be like, oh, it's the end of the world. He's a fascist. He's trying to force his nasal juice on everybody. That's exactly what he's trying to do by sneezing. He could say, hey, how's it going? And somebody, Trump deranged person, would take that as a call to violence. What does he mean, how's it going? Does he think I'm doing bad? Does he think I'm doing... Right, like they just come off the handle. Anything and everything Trump says. That's why I love these articles, and I always cover these articles, because they just show how insane some of these people are. Michaela Huff, elections director in Sunny County, North Carolina, said she fears Trump's comments will deter people from becoming election workers. Why is that, Miss Ma'am? Why is that, Michaela Huff? Is that because they plan on defrauding the United States? Because that's the only explanation they could have for not wanting to become an election worker. Right? A poll watcher, anything. Any of that garbage. It's because they plan on committing a crime. That's the only conclusion I can derive from that. Like, that's an insane statement for her to make. Because she's predicting that any new employees that work for the Election Commission are going to try to commit some sort of voter fraud on the American people. Like, that's What is she trying to say? This is how deranged these people sound, y'all. Like, do you take anything they say seriously these days? Seriously. All it's going to do is discourage wonderful volunteers, said Huff, a former Republican turned independent. Yeah, insanity, y'all. Just outright insanity. But you gotta love the corporate press. These people, once again, like I said, they gotta keep ratcheting everything up. It's just gotta keep going up and up and up and up and up. And then once you look into Trump, once you see all this insanity, right, then you go listen to one of his speeches. You listen to the thing with an open mind, you're like, he doesn't sound like Hitler. Sounds like a normal guy. As a matter of fact, you would probably agree with a lot of his policy positions. Seriously. As a matter of fact, Kamala Harris agrees with some of his policy positions because she stole some of his policy positions, for crying out loud. It's just crazy what they do. But the corporate press, it's like they don't realize what they're doing. Like, they need some fourth wall breaking here. They need to take a step back and look at themselves, need to come out with an outside perspective and read this. Like, some of these people need to watch some of my videos. From just a normal guy reading the news and pointing out the insanity, because that's what it is. For you to take such a basic statement of fact that, yes, the government will prosecute you for crimes, and turn this into some sort of call to arms, some sort of call for political violence, as this is one of the most insane comments you've ever heard in your entire life. To do that makes you look really crazy. Just really, really crazy. And I can't stress that enough, folks, that is it that they're just deranged, or is it that these people know they're lying on purpose for political gain, to make Trump look bad? I happen to think that's what it is. It could be a mixture of both, for crying out loud. Some people are definitely Trump deranged. Look at Bill Maher. Bill Maher is Trump deranged. Cenk Uygur is another one. He's just outright Trump deranged. Anything Trump does, like everything that Trump does, has some sort of fascist undertone or some sort of racist intent behind it. It's crazy to watch some of these people talk about Donald Trump. It's just one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen. But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this in the comments section. Do y'all think that it's just the corporate press doing this for political gain, or do y'all think they're Trump deranged? Or do you think that there's some sort of ulterior motive behind this article? Like, what good could come of this? What good could come from posting that some of these people sound deranged as hell, sound like freaking lunatics? That's what they sound like. Like, seriously, like, I imagine some Democrat voters out there, like, read this and be like, what? Like, there's got to be some of these people out there that are all for Kamala Harris and will read this and think, well, hang on. He said he's going to go after criminals here. They've got to make that connection. They've got to make that connection. But, once again, like I said, y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.